gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Two will enter, one will win. Welcome to the fight. Welcome to the knockout.
Welcome everyone to season 3 of the Knockout Power of the Gods YouTube and podcast. It has been a long road on the way to the championship matchup tonight. We started season 3 July 3rd, 2021, over a year and a half ago. The delays, I tell you, the delays this season were just a killer. But finally, we have reached the championship match at last. I've had such a fun time this season, even with the different matchups. My favorites have been the Cosmic Spider-Man versus Zatanna, Sinestro versus Green Lantern, and no, I did not set that one up. That was a spin of the wheel and the fate. But my favorite of all this season was Superman versus Darth Vader. That was the only time I believe Superman could actually lose a fight against someone. And for me, as a Superman fan, that's saying something. I would personally like to thank everyone who's been a part of the knockout, watching the audience, listening to the podcast, and who has voted for the winners to move forward in this competition. You are all the best, and I've had my sincere gratitude and thanks for being a part of this show and for helping make it what it is. So truly, thank you. Now, you didn't come here to listen to my boring intro, reading a speech that I had prepared for here. You came to watch the show. This championship matchup is between Dr. Fate from DC Comics, recently seen the Black Adam movie, and Jean Grey, also known as the Phoenix, everyone's favorite mutant redhead from Marvel Comics. I couldn't have chosen two better characters, or guests for that matter, to argue for them to make it to the championship match. Let me introduce first last season's champions. They have defeated Optimus Prime, Darth Vader, Zatanna, and Scarlet Witch. Quite the lineup, honestly, if I have to say so myself. So please welcome to the show the legendary Life with Two YouTubers and her daughter, Rena, arguing for Dr. Fate. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. How are you?
Good, good. How are you girls doing?
We are fabulous
and ready for a fight.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I mean every word. You guys truly some of the most fun episodes are having you two on arguing. You know, I've even had to make special little rules one particular episode during a particularly fierce rivalry. So it was a lot of fun. So all right, now let me introduce to the Marvel Universe's representative this championship match. They first faced off with John Constantine, moving on to defeat Hal Jordan's Green Lantern and Shazam, before finally defeating Mighty Thor. Please welcome John's Comics with Kids arguing for Jean Grey. Welcome, John.
Hey, yo.
How's it going?
The show's in another month, right? Where we still got more time. This is still going, right?
Yes, you still have more time to get more votes.
It's like, okay. I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm ready. You wake me up.
Okay, we'll do that. All right. This championship match is going to be different from the last two. Both teams have had the voting link for 6 weeks in advance of the show and have been neck and neck mostly, chasing votes the whole time. And the last time I looked at it, they had over 300 votes total, having had cast their vote before the start of the show, which is impressive. And again, thank you everyone who's voted. It means so much to me having created this show. Thank you. All right. Congratulations to both of you. And don't forget, everyone watching, that the voting link is still active. So share and don't forget to vote. Because I've heard from a little bird that John's pulling his usual tactics.
What?
And pulling
I'm
pulling
sitting
away.
here having a drink and hanging with you. I'm not doing anything. Tactics.
Yes.
Tactics.
Yeah. So you and your mutant gang. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here for a fun chat with some awesome ladies and Matt.
Awesome. Well, and finally, let me introduce the other difference to this championship match. I've had a couple of different changes the past 3 seasons here, but this time for the championship match, I'm taking away the official challenge. No one gets an official challenge for the championship matchup. You know, it's like Angels in the movie, Angels in the Outfield. You have to earn the championship. You don't get any extra help. Well, maybe a poor choice of words, because the reason why I took it away is each of these contestants got a guest to argue with their point. They got a teammate to argue and all that. So let's give a good chance to argue that case on why they should win. So to quote Samuel L. Jackson on Jurassic Park, hang on to your butts. And so let's get the party started. So Sharon, since I know your guest has shown up, we'll introduce your guest, please.
Our guest doesn't need any introduction. He's awesome all on his own.
Awesome. Well, I'll bring him in. Mr. Kachung.
Yay! Team Fair!
Awesome. And speak of the devil, as he realized it wasn't fair to be introduced without him, John, your guest just popped in here. So please welcome John, the geek aficionado.
Woo!
Welcome.
Jimmy,
how's it going?
Yep, can't hear you.
Can't hear you, you're muted.
Can't hear you, Peach. Yes. Hello.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We had a smart guess that it might have been you. So, as
the guy who started off with this character, it was fitting that I actually was able to end with it. And I do thank John for stepping in my absence when I was otherwise occupied with work. So, thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like going just delays, and it's just like going, I need to get this match forward, so I need to get a sub in there. So,
well, let's be honest, this did start in 2020, so
one.
I had a lot more time on my hands then.
Yeah, this is 18 months ago, pretty much. Could we take a month or two? Ugh. Anyway, this is a lot of fun. So, no official challenge. You each get a spare guest to argue. For the most part, I'm going to kind of remain neutral and just let the 5 of you go at it. So, Sharon and Rena have elected to go first as current champions, as their right. So, we're going to introduce their opening statement, followed by yours. Anything you guys want to mention or talk about before we officially start the show?
I don't think so.
I think we're good.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to bring this stream in there because this is... There, so here we go. Your opening statement from the ladies, from Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate was introduced to the world in 1940 with More Fun Comics, issue 55, capturing our hearts as we read about a young boy exploring the pyramids with his father, discovering and releasing the god Naboo. Kent was rewarded with an education unlike any other, learning about advanced science, otherwise known as magic. Immortality, flight, changing the physical world, telekinesis, super strength, the ability to become intangible, telepathy, and teleportation is just a tip of the iceberg of what our hero can do.
So a very, very good introduction, and give a hand to the editor who behind it. So he worked very hard.
At what point were we going to be told our team is supposed to could make a PowerPoint and present? Like, at what point they've already got an extra person on their panel. And they've already now got somebody in the chat who's like basically creating things for them. At what
I
point
never
is this
said.
actually
Did that person make the video? That's the question I have. Is there?
No, it was Burning Block. It was.
I didn't make any video.
Super talented, almost 6,000 subscribers strong YouTuber, Burning Block, who I will happily vote for, but these shenanigans I'm not voting for. That's
So I have to ask a question. Which Dr. Fate are we fighting? Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, Modern Age, or are we supposed to fight all of them all at the same time? Right? Because every one of those had a different.
Which Jean Grey are we fighting?
Well, we'll get into that after you guys do your introduction. So, John, take it away with your introduction for Jean Grey.
There's so many shenanigans on this show, man. Unbelievable. Right. But we'll play through. We don't matter. None of that matters because the truth is on the scoreboard at the end of the game. That's all we really care about here. Yeah, there's a lot of great topics to discuss here. I think these characters obviously have a lot in common as far as the concepts of their power and the things that they can do. I think are very interesting. The combination that we're talking about here. I also think there's some hilarious, like classically male, female, like ridiculous archetypes here. Whether it's the like logical thinking man and the hyper emotional female. I think there's some hilarity to the stereotypes that are being played out in this battle. But I'd love to get into the nitty gritty of it because I think the truth is when you start looking at the quantity, the sheer mass of power, that's where this battle shifts. You might argue that they have similar powers, but it's the strength of those powers that we're really here to get into. And that's where this is a no-brainer.
Awesome. Well, very well. So, all right, now you guys get a nitty gritty. You can debate on which age you want, which character exactly you want. I'm just here it is. So, who's gonna win this fight? Bring it on. Give me the pros and the cons. So,
go ahead, John.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, we're still waiting for that question to be answered.
Which era of
Fate? Fate is always fate. It's the helmet, it's the sentient being inside of the helmet.
Oh, sweet. So we're battling a helmet.
Yes.
I'm feeling very strong about our chances at this point.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if we're fighting, Phoenix Jean Grey from what is it, Earth 10005, she is absolutely helpless, in which case we would be able to win this in a landslide. So I don't know.
Yeah, but nobody said that.
Specifics.
We would definitely not be picking that random Jean Grey.
I think we're assuming, and nobody's bringing this multiverse crap into this.
I think we're assuming that we're.
You're the one who volleyed, man.
Oh no, but that's the point, right? Is that your introduction here went through a laundry list of Dr. Fate's abilities and such. However, some of those didn't carry on between the ages. So that's where the question comes in: is right? Does what does he have? Right? Who is it? Which version of Dr. Fate are we dealing with? Because the Golden Age one, was kind of. I'll take that one.
It really doesn't make a difference what age we're going for.
He's always got the same powers.
Yeah,
that is not true.
They have shifted over who has worn the helmet at different times, and different archetypes of that character have had different power structures.
But the power is always the same inside.
Well, that is not true.
The original doesn't make any difference. Yeah, it really doesn't make any difference. The powers are the same. The power of Naboo, the god, translates no matter what Dr. Fate we're focused on.
It's how the wearer translates those powers.
I love the
power, the ultimate power there inside that helmet in that universe is the most powerful. If we're talking most powerful for both of these characters, that's probably what we're assuming, given this battle.
I want to pose a question to to the guys on the. Sorry to ignore the ladies for just a second. I want to pose a question to the gentlemen on this panel. There's a lot of guys, and Cade, you can answer in the background. It's fine. And any guys in the chat. So like I mentioned, this is a combination of fun archetypes of the like logical thinking man and the hyper emotional woman, right? How often does that work out for the guy? Guys, I just want to know like how often you feel like you've really succeeded when dealing with that archetype. How's that gone for you?
We're supposed to succeed?
I'm just curious how people feel about that. How often that's really played out to the logical thinking guy's success. Just a thought.
Yeah.
They I guess they. I'm not going to say it.
There's ladies nearby, and he knows. It's just a question. I didn't know that it really equates to this debate, but it's just something that I was thinking.
Well, yeah, I'm struggling to understand what it has to do with anything related to this. But
hey, Dr. Fate's in the background, or that reverse Godspeed.
It's Godspeed.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I love it. It's so good.
Oh my God.
Cade, dude, congrats, dude. Congrats, man. I mean, I'm assuming that's Cade, but like, you know.
Hey, you know what? If we're gonna have fun, we're gonna have fun. You know?
Right?
Yeah. I appreciate it. So, yep.
Something else that was brought up, and I'm sorry to do spoilers for the chat. So, chat people, there are some spoilers coming your way. I know that something that Rena and Sharon have mentioned a bunch is this idea that Phoenix dies. That like Phoenix is, I mean, obviously it's part of the idea of a Phoenix is to be born again and come back to life. So like, yeah, she's been in a handful of movies, I don't know, 6 something movies, and died twice. Like just in those movies.
Terrible movies.
How many movies has your guy been in?
That's one.
And how did that work out for him?
Pierce Brosnan was with 10
I'm
actors.
just curious because
we haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen the movie.
He died.
Oh, you didn't even see the movie. You didn't even care about the character to see the
dead.
film.
He was in one movie and Bill died. Bill died.
Yeah, but the helmet didn't.
He's batting 1,000 on death in movies.
That's
Dr.
true.
Fate is still there. I'm sorry.
I'm just curious. I mean, I knew that it was like the first thing out of your mouth. It was like, oh, she dies. And I was like, okay, I can sympathize with that. And then I watched Black Adam and I was like, you don't have any leg to stand on now. The guy, they gave it one movie and they killed him.
To be fair, those movies suck so bad. I can't even cite those as like a weapon for our side.
Yeah, if we're grading based on the quality of movies that these characters show up in, that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or a cartoon for
we made a lot
children.
of fun of her like tripping over a cord.
Yeah.
That was so good.
I was about to go. I was about
to yet again.
Yeah, I was about to stick up for Phoenix, you know, and all that. I'm going like, hey, one of my favorite Exit. Oh wait, my favorite Exit movie. She's not in it. So it's like Days of Future Past. I love that one.
Oh yeah, I mean she's at the very, very end, right?
Well, okay, about the very end, but
time stream she rolls in.
Okay, fine. I take it back then, and so, but for
Fate is going to turn up again because Dr. Fate did not die.
It's like a bad penny.
Yeah, true, Russ. True, Russ.
Dr.
Now,
Fate's
I will
helmet.
just say to John's point there that technically a Phoenix can't die, and while the Phoenix Force can resurrect its host, it has been proven that her powers can be stolen. The Phoenix Force can be taken from her, which means, technically speaking, if they are stolen, she then can die. So,
wait, or she could just sacrifice herself like she had to in order to prevent people fighting over the Phoenix Force. Or even if she doesn't have that, she's still what do they call those, John? What kind of mutants? Omega level mutant with telepathy and telekinesis. So she's not like, just tied to it, and that's the only thing she can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure we're clear on
that. Do all those things too.
So he can.
Okay, and without the helmet, he has a lot of powers too. You guys keep saying it's just
no, he doesn't. No. Kent Nelson's just a regular dude.
No, he's not.
Just a regular dude with a helmet.
No, he's not. You are hands down wrong.
So what was Kent Nelson before he got the helmet?
Arts. Yeah. That's why he speaks verbal spells, is because he deals with magic already, even though he has Naboo. He is in touch with the mystical arts.
Yeah.
Oh, so all you have to do is shut him up.
He doesn't need the helmet to.
Can you click on Burning Block's comment? Because
sacrifice.
I'm assuming that Cade is talking about the death of Dr. Fate and Black Adam because that's what it is. I'm just making sure. I totally
They had to sacrifice him to make a better film. But
to circle around to that point, because to your very point, you said that Jean herself would sacrifice to stop the Phoenix. So all Fate has to do.
I didn't say that.
No,
similar.
That's not what I
I'm happy to clarify if you want.
Yeah, no. So
You're like, no, I don't want you to clarify.
She did it to protect her friends. So I guess if Dr. Fate's such a great guy, maybe he'll go after her friends, and that'll be a way to stop her.
No, he'll appeal to
Terrible idea.
Jean herself, and he would say,
Ah.
hey, you're a destructive force. You don't want to hurt your own people. And she herself would shut the Phoenix down.
Jean
Game
Grey.
over.
Jean Grey
Yeah.
has been known to take over the Phoenix Force.
Mhm.
And because our guy can not only get into people's heads, I mean, that is one of his main things, is that he can
He's
talk to people
telekinetic
and he can connect to emotions.
Mhm.
All he would have to do is convince Jean Grey to shut down the Phoenix Force, and that's the end.
Yep.
So he wouldn't even have to end in death.
All he has
So-
to use is
so now he
Professor
has,
X's voice.
Now he's an expert in legal discussions, and
Yep.
I
That
know,
makes
I'm
sense.
going to wait for the women
Wow.
to go first.
It
I
would
really
just
wasn't aware that was in his alleyway.
Jean to conceal the
If
Phoenix
Jean
Force.
is genuinely good, then she herself would be
I
like,
don't
"No,
promise
you're
that at all. In fact, I
No.
think the crux of our winning is the fact that it doesn't matter in this fight if Jean's all good or all not, because if she's all not, we are set. Like this is only going to get worse for your guy. I think.
Well, except our guy
That's a
is
weakness.
the one who goes after like the most destructive forces in the universe. That's his whole job.
Mhm.
And considering that she is vulnerable to chaos magic,
And that's his main
which
thing.
is his main
Whoa,
thing,
whoa!
that's
Who
not,
said that? Where did that happen?
Research. Did you do
We've
any
been
research? We've been
researching.
researching this for
She
Oh
is
yeah!
weak to chaos
Oh please, please do educate me. When was she ever had a problem with chaos magic? Did the Scarlet
Goblin
Witch get the
energy,
drop on her?
wasn't it?
magic.
This is the Jean Grey of
Um,
Earth 2009776441. That one.
There has
8675309.
That one.
Right?
That one.
No, there's
The
been
Phoenix
different
Force has an
iterations.
inverse energy.
Oh,
Yes,
so
there's
we're
a
changing
counteract-
the subject now.
There's a destruction and a creation, to be sure, and she does have like both aspects of that in her personality and in her ability. But when it comes to like the concept, what I was trying to say about her, the truth is that the only thing that seems to be consistently able to stop Jean Grey Phoenix is Jean Grey Phoenix. So like she can choose to sacrifice herself for the sake of, you know, whatever is going on internally inside of her, which is the original story plot line. But I do not believe that Kurt Nelson has the ability to appeal to her in such a way and convince her to sacrifice herself. I don't see that, especially in a one-on-one battle. It's not like he's protecting citizens. It's not like he's protecting planets. He's just trying to save his own ass. I don't see that.
That's not true at all. I mean,
What citizens are in this battle? It is on an isolated island? Isn't that where this thing's happening? Like we're all just.
I don't know. Where is the battle?
This is not happening in a populous anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, I imagine this to be in the same like in the Black Adam movie. Dr. Fate seals them both in a round and go, okay, to protect civilians, just us. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah,
can you bring up Ben D. Man Joe's comment? This makes no sense to me and proves to me that we're not fully understanding the fact that the Phoenix Force is a god level power. Like we're talking about a god versus a godly helmet on a guy. That's what we're really talking about is a god. I agree. There's a god in this battle. It's not Fate. You could argue Naboo is a god, but he is not in the fight. He's on a guy's helmet and the guy's wearing it. His body is absolutely vulnerable. His human mortal shell is vulnerable. And that's the only human in this battle. And then you've got a goddess fighting that guy. That's the reality.
Speaking of human stuff, I do want to bring up 2 points for either of you because I did my own little research the best I could. So I saw some weaknesses for both characters. For Dr. Fate, a weakness I saw is it says physical form, like he can be stressed or destroyed. Like you said, he's literally more.
Sorry, I couldn't hear. Can you repeat that one?
Dr. Fate's weaknesses is like his physical form. He can be stressed or destroyed.
Gotcha.
Whereas Phoenix, one of her weaknesses is like part of her power can be stolen. Like she's only a vessel to the Phoenix Force for her boost. She's powerful in herself, but her major power is not literally hers. It came to her and therefore can leave.
You mean kind of like a guy who wears a helmet and when it falls off, somebody else can put it on? Got it.
Well, but that's what I was going to say. You made the point that Naboo is the god, but technically Jean Grey's in the same boat because if the Phoenix Force decides to leave her behind, she's kind of out of luck there.
Truly, but I can't imagine her fighting Dr. Fate, having the Phoenix Force just say, "Oh, I'm good."
I'm pretty certain that she could take Dr. Fate even without the Phoenix Force, but we'll leave it in.
All right.
Well, and you don't even need the helmet. I mean, depending on which version of Fate we use. I mean,
so you have an endless supply of Fates now? Is that
sure? Why not? I mean, if
we're diving down that alleyway, you realize where this goes, right? How many superheroes have used the Phoenix Force? So, do we get all the superheroes who've had the Phoenix Force if you get all the people who've worn the helmet?
No,
is that how this plays?
Fate is fate, isn't it?
It's Jean Grey's.
How many people have actually had the Phoenix Force?
How is that any different?
So wait, yeah. Ref, I need a ruling on this. Do they get to use an unlimited supply of tools that have put on a helmet?
They can only use unlimited. They can only use like in the Black Adam movies. He can duplicate his own body as the one figure. They can use as many faces they want.
So
but Jean Grey,
it's not like all the other people who've worn the helmet, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's not every person. It's not every person.
Whatever his name is.
You guys just keep harping on the helmet thing, and it's super annoying. Because
I agree. The helmet is hilariously.
Yeah, we're gonna keep bringing it up.
There's so much more that he can do. You know, I mean,
especially if you think about his tower and all the other magical.
He's got a big house.
He has
Jimmy, did you know he's got jewelry?
Ooh, he's got jewelry too. Yeah,
he does.
Does your girl have any bling?
That's a dope cloak.
I don't think she does. I think she
doesn't need it.
Even without the helmet, he could trap Jean Grey inside that amulet.
He could.
Until the end of the battle.
How does he trap her in an amulet?
Magic.
It's multiple universes.
The amulet is its own universe.
Done.
So, yeah, the amulet is its own universe, and he can and has trapped beings within it. Yeah,
Jimmy, I wanted to bring up a really great. Sorry, Rena was talking. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, or he can just straight up trap her within his tower because the tower can only be opened by Kent, so he can technically trap her in an endless room.
He's gonna Rapunzel her.
No,
yes.
Yeah.
She's gonna get Rapunzeled.
Yeah.
Well, she'd look good in a tower.
Hey, I mean eternal concealment.
Jean Grey's gonna look good anywhere. Let's just be.
So how does that actually work? Does he have to say the words? Does she have to hear it? Does the fight start off with he just decides to put her in a send her to her room?
By the power of Grayskull.
I want to bring up a couple of things. Specifically, Jimmy, I know, is a big fan of the Teen Titans X-Men crossover book, which I think is a really great tool here because I struggled to find any moment where Dr. Fate could one-on-one Darkseid. Phoenix did it just fine. She seemed to solve the Darkseid problem in one comic. Every time Darkseid comes to Earth and lays waste, I don't see Dr. Fate being like, "Hey guys, I got this. I'm gonna take care of this for you." But Phoenix rolls into the DC universe and is like, "That Darkseid guy seems to be a big problem. I'll take care of that for you." Done.
Well, it's convenient to have a comic book that just wrote that in.
I agree.
We're like,
perfect.
Yes,
it's a perfect discussion topic, isn't it?
Wait. So when she went to the DC universe, where was Dr. Fate?
I didn't see him. He did not show up. It was kind of weird.
I guess he just didn't make the list.
He might have lost his helmet and couldn't find it.
Oh,
well, at least he didn't trip over a cord while
people
he was
always stealing jewelry.
So,
or go up into the sky, die, and then go float and fall into the water.
I mean, we can crochet just as much as you can.
Oh, you guys keep going back to the movie.
I don't know. It's a really great comic. I highly recommend reading it at some point.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. Is it like a one-parter, or I genuinely haven't heard of it. So
it's basically a one-shot book.
Really?
The Teen Titans and the Uncanny X-Men, and really great. Really great. You get Robin, you get the Starfire, you get the whole Beast Boy team, and then you get the Uncanny X-Men. And they resurrect Jean. Darkseid thinks he's going to bring her back because she's going to help him. Turns out that doesn't work out well for him.
Hey, can we highlight JP's last two comments?
Oh, jeez.
Let's see. It makes. Well, one just popped up here, but let me see. Are you talking about this one?
No, the one at the bottom there. Second to bottom, sorry.
Here
the
we
one
go.
right
That
after
one.
your vote.
That one.
Strange the last JLA dark run. His tower got overrun by bad guys, and he had to flee.
So that's a safe place to hide someone.
Fate is actually almost never useful in all the crisis events ever, or either. So. Well, kind of like the Sorcerer Supreme, I guess. He has to stay above the fray, I guess.
That's the whole point of this. We're sticking him right in the middle of it, right here, right
JP's
now.
coming in clutch. We have hated John as JP.
There's obviously more important things to be taken care of.
You gotta polish the helmet. I get it.
You gotta look good when you fight. You know.
I will say, Dr. Fate.
I still haven't heard a compelling attack. Right? Like, how does he win?
The Dr. Fate costume and the look of Dr. Fate is one of the coolest DC looking characters. He looks good. He's a good looking guy with the helmet on him.
Yeah, everyone behave apparently in the chat.
Is there drama in the chat?
I don't know. Some of it a little bit, but from what I've been reading, it doesn't seem anything bad. But then again, yeah, maybe it's just some fun. Who knows?
Honestly, guys, we're legitimately talking. Could Dr. Fate beat Jean Grey Phoenix? I really don't think we have any priorities straight in our lives right now. Like, there's just no. There's just no. I mean, come on.
But this is a lot of fun. Yeah, but yeah,
it's a blast. It's an absolute blast.
Well, like I said, when I was doing the prep for the stuff and all that, I literally had to include the clip where I got part of the special rule where I took a Looney Tunes, Daffy Duck, punching thing for the matchup because of Rena and Sharon and all that getting really feisty with JP and all that. So I had to include a bonus rule of what you cannot do just for fun.
And they still need 3 people to go to 2. I mean, they still need to try to outnumber us just to get into this fight here. Way too many.
We've said very little, and you guys have said the most. So
when Matt said, "Oh yeah, you get a partner in this," I was like, "Oh good, so that at least I got somebody to go against Rena and I can go against Sharon." I get it. And he's like, "No, they get another person." Like what? Like, where's this math? Where's the math?
Yeah, I was like, wait.
You tell this one no.
So technically, we really should have another person then.
I mean, JP's in the chat. He's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's not on our side.
That's you got the point. We need a third. You got 3 on your side.
So
and you got Cade, who's
so how does
I'm gonna say he's carrying that team.
I think the flaw in this actual battle is that both of these characters reincarnate in some way. Yeah. And when is the end of the battle then?
I think the start. I haven't even heard anybody make an attack yet.
Dr. Fate could easily trap the Phoenix Force in another universe, away from the universe of the battle. And what?
How does he trap her in another with magic? With an endless supply of magic tricks.
All he has to do is think instantaneously, and she will disappear. And he could probably conjure goblin energy to completely contradict her and cancel her out.
Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids.
Is that not an end of the battle? I mean, she'll reincarnate in some other place. In some other form, maybe as someone else.
I mean, that's a really interesting discussion topic. Like, at what point do we consider the battle dead? If Kent, whatever his name is, dies, and someone else gets the helmet, does the fight keep going?
Yeah,
if she dies and the Phoenix Force goes to the next, do we just keep going? At what point are we calling it quits?
That is true, because there's another podcast I listen to called "Who Would Win," and they basically have a 2-minute removed from battle rule. So basically, if it takes 2 minutes for them to recover and come back to the fight, they officially lost the debate, kind of a thing. So it's called battlefield removal. But anyway, it all depends, I think, too, because another wrench to throw into the mix is the fact that right now with the mutants, they can clone new bodies in a sense. So even if Jean Grey dies, we're not even talking the Phoenix Force. So she could just be reborn again very easily. But
that implies that like they're getting help. As far as we're understanding this, it was a separate. I don't have Krakoa and all the mutants at my hand, just like you don't have the JSA, right?
Well, magic clearly beats science. It always can.
Magic is science.
Well,
I don't know that Jean. I don't know that Jean is science as Phoenix. I think she's godly magical power as well.
Well, there also needs to be a question of power comparison because obviously both of our characters have mental abilities, telekinesis, telepathy, empathy, like mental shields and, creating all these things. So they do have a lot of similar powers, but I guess my question would lie, what more physical powers do they have? Like, Jean can obviously use fire, the fire of the Phoenix Force. She can fly and she's super strong. Our guy can also fly and he has a lot of magic, which, depending on the type of magic, is not necessarily mental. So you also kind of have to look at where their kind of more brute strength powers lay as well. Because Jean can also be injured. The host can be injured, but
Truly.
It's not until the host is killed that the Phoenix Force, has a resurrection. So they can beat the bloody hell out of each other. And it kind of circles back to that question of when would the battle really stop?
Well, and Kent can travel in time. So, I mean, even if she was about to beat him, what's to say he couldn't just blip back to the beginning of the fight and change it in his favor?
Well, you have to consider one thing about magic is that you require concentration. And if you're getting your ass beat silly, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to concentrate enough to cast a magic spell to send yourself back in time.
Well, that's a cop-out, though. I mean, if you're doing...
Please!
Concentration?
Concentrate to trick her. Come on.
The same thing could be said about Jean. I mean, how many times have you seen her holding her fingertips to her temples trying to focus on something? You know, I mean...
All Fate has to do is teleport an injured Cyclops in front of her, and she's like, oh my God.
That was a nice try, but
my boy toy. No.
Oh no! I don't know that that'll work anymore since he was going with the blonde. So.
Oh yeah, after he went off with the Goblin Queen too.
Well, we also know she likes short, hairy guys too, so she might not matter.
I feel like Rena touched on the crux of a lot of this for me, which is magnitude. Because the power samples here are very, very similar. And for me, it's a question of magnitude and the sheer destructive power of the Phoenix Force. I don't think what Dr. Fate is wielding compares, especially when she can like destroy an entire planet and a solar system in seconds. At what point is that just like his body is vulnerable? If she can destroy a planet in seconds, what stops her from destroying one guy? I don't.
He can tap into the springs of creation and raise the dead. Can she raise the dead? I mean, he repaired Jordan's soul. I mean, they both have such a powerful spectrum.
I got a question for both of you guys.
Because I was just gonna say that I'm sorry, Matt. Give me 1 second. I have to respond to that comment. I mean, that's relevance. What's the relevance of that?
What's the relevance of her exploding a planet? Tomato.
Level of power. The fact that he can
raising the dead isn't a level of power.
Necromancy is not exactly the same thing.
It's not going to be useful in a one-on-one fight. What dead person is he going to raise? Himself after he's already dead?
Himself? That's funny. No, it's just to show the power. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
All right. My question is here: how do I say this? Do both characters have the ability to basically neutralize the other's power? Is that ability? Because I don't know either 100%. Because if both could technically neutralize the Phoenix Force and the helmet, in a sense, it comes down to who's the stronger character without the extra ability. If it comes down to a physical fight.
I'd be curious to hear, because I know Kachung has definitely got more knowledge about these characters than anybody, but I would say I don't know that any of them could neutralize the godlike abilities of the other. I don't think it's ever going to become like a fist fight. Well, let's get in there. I don't think that will never happen.
Yeah, because it always boiled down to my opinion. My debate I had on who's going to kick butt, Batman or Iron Man. Well, you take away everything, Bruce Wayne's going to kick Tony's butt. That's why I'm.
Well, we can look at it another direction. Who have they survived? Which is the strongest foe that they have survived against.
Good point.
And when you think about that, I don't really know who the strongest foe of Jean Grey has been that she's survived, but
space.
Dr. Fate had
The
survived
emptiness of
fighting the
space.
Spectre, and the Spectre is the vengeance of God. The most powerful probably should be playing whoever wins this battle.
So you're saying that whenever Darkseid rolls into the DC universe to fight, Dr. Fate is choosing to let him kick ass.
Depends on what other catastrophe is going on, but
He's got priorities.
I want somebody to publish the comic of showing me what Dr. Fate was doing every time Darkseid was wiping out the DC universe. I want that book. I want to see what catastrophic event he was solving at that time.
I mean, I could kick his ass. But then he'd get really emotionally hurt and come back when really hurt people up.
Superman, you need to do this for yourself, man. You need to do this for you.
Man up.
Expand on Kachung's point, though, using Dr. Fate versus Spectre as an example, if you draw a Marvel parallel, one of the most powerful beings that I would say for Marvel is for example, Thanos. And Thanos has defeated Phoenix. There is a comic issue. I don't remember what number off the top of my head, but there is an issue where Thanos actually killed her. So that's a good.
Is that a what if story?
I don't remember, honestly. I was just reading through the article, and it said, in comparison, a few of the characters that could beat, Phoenix, Jean Grey, Thanos was one of them. So if we're using it as like a parallel of which one could stand up to their respective universe's most powerful people, that is one way of looking at it.
I love Rena's dad in the chat. I think he's basically hit on the thing that ends all of these debates, which is it's whatever. And I've seen comic book writers make this comment, like, these fights end however the writer wants them to end. Like that. That's the same reason that this Batman was able to fly from outer space and crash land in the North Pole and not be injured this last issue of Batman. Because it's Batman and the writer wants him to survive. Like that's the hilarity of that statement. So Kurt,
Dr. Fate has been able to talk through the fourth wall, so he could talk to the writer.
He's gonna convince the writer. That's hilarious. So good.
Oh God, you're so awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Jean Grey could stomach talking to Deadpool, so get him to do the same.
I want to highlight a comment that happened in me sending out this poll over the last few months. Somebody said to me, "How many times has anybody felt like they needed to stop Dr. Fate?" Versus how many world-ending events, universe-ending events, has the Phoenix Force been the center of? How many times have all the Avengers and all the Eternals and all the X-Men, everybody has to come together to stop the Phoenix Force? At what point is anybody like, that Dr. Fate, he's got so much power, we got to worry about that guy?
Well, it's because
nobody's ever said that.
Villain, so why would you need to stop him?
He fights to stop chaos and evil.
People.
Yeah.
It's not about good versus evil. I'm just talking about sheer magnitude of power. All the Avengers had to come together and still try to fight as a team to stop her. But
that's
it seems like this one guy is going to be able to do it.
Yeah, in that particular scenario, she is technically the villain against the heroes, the Avengers, and so on and so forth.
Again, I think you're trying to put a morality on it that doesn't really play in a one-on-one fight. Like, who cares if she's the bad guy or good guy? She's got the power to like basically force all the superheroes in Marvel to have to come together to try to stop her. And that's a whole crew of them, and you got the one.
But if she's being evil, then if she's being the bad Phoenix, then she already has a flaw in that.
Yeah. Well,
so Dr. Fate's flawless.
I guess the problem is we've never had a version of Fate that I know of that has been evil. I mean, every Fate that we have ever seen has always been a tool for good.
Well, he fights with the Lords of Order to prevent people like.
So I guess there's no way for us to really.
I was just gonna.
Because Fate has never had that sort of story arc before.
And let's be honest here. If he can get stopped by Wonder Woman.
The Spectre threw him through infinite dimensions and he to the end of unrecorded time. Reality itself was nothing and Dr. Fate survived. I really don't think that Jean Grey could.
The helmet survived.
I mean,
just the helmet's just a tool.
It only took one.
Himself survived.
Naboo's biggest flaw is he's a bit selfish.
That's true.
That's true.
I mean, it only took one Black Adam movie to kill him off in the line. That worked pretty quick.
I think we've come full circle here.
Yeah.
Wait. So how did he die in the movie?
I didn't see the movie.
It was the is it Sabak? The demon.
Is that card game in Star Wars?
Yeah.
the demon equivalent of Black Adam and Shazam. Yeah, the 7 demons of hell, bless them. So yeah.
I haven't seen it either, but I
technically speaking,
kind of wait. All the people arguing for Dr. Fate haven't even seen the Dr. Fate movie. Come on.
I don't go to the cinema anymore, so
right, I get
I'm waiting till Friday. I was hoping it would come out.
It's been on HBO Max for like a month. That movie was so bad it exited theaters in a hurry.
I already pay for HBO. I'm not going to pay for it again to watch more movies. I wait till it's free.
yes, unless it's out on DVD. So yeah. All right. Well, if we have no further points we want to add, we can basically go into closing statements, and I will let each person here argue a closing statement. So you'll have, Kachu and Geek giving to add their 2 cents in without interruption for a closing statement. Since it's hard to argue over these two.
Sharon and I, we have the gift of gab.
Yes. So, do we have any further points we want to add and debate before we divulge into closing statements?
Oh, the closing statements.
No, let's do closing statements. Let's wrap it up.
All right. So take it away. We'll take away, ladies. Or no, we'll take away Kachung here first, since he, since he's not the official player. So take it away. What's Dr. Fate's last words?
His last words. So, Kent Nelson was imbued with all these powers instantaneously. He was a boy, and then all of a sudden, he was an adult with the powers of God. And he used these for good, always, and fought some pretty powerful characters, including the Spectre. And I think that is a big issue, that he fought the Spectre and survived. He went to the end of time and came back through multiple universes. He's able to go through between multiple universes within the helmet, and even if his body dies, the God inside the helmet imbues the new chosen. We're talking chosen, not just some guy that up the helmet. The helmet, the God inside the helmet chooses who Dr. Fate will be. And I know that in this latest movie, Hawkman picks up the helmet, but he doesn't become Dr. Fate. He can use it, and he can be imbued with the powers briefly, but as Dr. Fate, you have all the powers invested within you.
Mr. Gretzky, come on.
For always. And I'm lost for words.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gretzky threw me out. I didn't mean to interrupt. Awesome. You can interrupt me. I'm sorry.
That is pretty funny.
Are you good, or should I move to life?
Yeah, no, go on with these guys. I'm sure they have a stronger closing argument.
Ladies, take it away.
While though both Dr. Fate and Phoenix have very similar powers, I think it would come down to probably a lot more of strategy, trying to figure out strategic ways to beat the other, since they cannot solidly defeat one another with mental abilities. It would come down to the finesse of how you would defeat a character, and is such as powerful as yourself in a fight such as this. Now, with the finesse of figuring out how to defeat a character, I just had one more kind of poke right for the end. As I was doing my research, I happened to come across an article that talked about 20 DC characters that could theoretically beat Phoenix in a fight. And I just want to make note that the number one person was Batman. That was it. So if Batman could defeat Phoenix, I think our boy has a pretty good chance. And then
wow, okay, that was a leap. That last bit was a leap. You had me at Batman though.
Sadly, Batman was not invited to this fight.
I would so love it if somebody just argued Batman through this whole thing and tried to make that like. But does he have prep time? Does he have prep time? If he has prep time, I think he could do this.
Well, ladies, you did a heck of a job with Dr. Fate through the season. I am very pleased with the job you guys did. You guys did terrific, arguing through 4 matches the long way to make it to the finals. So congratulations. All right. John and Geek, it's time for your guys' closing statement. So take it away, Geek, with the guests first.
I appreciate that. I think this all comes down to the fact that you've got one person who innately has power against somebody who is wielding power, right? Yes, you could argue that the Phoenix is also Jean Grey is also wielding the powers of Phoenix, but she has power to begin with, and a power that she had to overcome. Just like Kent Nelson did, becoming a little boy to a man, apparently in a blink of an eye, and having all this power. The facts is that she can telekinetically remove a helmet and separate him from the bulk of his power and damage his body, whereas that cannot be said on the other side. It's not a tool that she's wielding. It is what she has. It is her, right? And that's the essence of her. And now we're not talking about whether or not somebody's good or evil. We're talking about raw power and the capabilities of that power. And that's all I got to say about that.
Awesome. John?
I mean, great points. This has been a whole lot of fun. So, Matt, thanks for doing this. Thanks for having us. Thanks to those of you in the chat for hanging out, and the like 400 people something that have voted. I have not checked voting since the show started. I promised myself I would be surprised by the end result, and I'm excited about that. For me, it's a question of magnitude. The magnitude of power here is really what's at stake. If you look up the weaknesses of Jean Grey, and if you look up the weaknesses of the Dr. Fate, specifically the version Dr. Nelson that we're talking about here, I don't think that it equates very well. You look at Dr. Nelson is physically vulnerable, and if she can destroy a planet, certainly destroying an individual, that level of power, the sheer magnitude is what we're talking about. And lastly, I want to end with the fact that I live with 3 women and I've yet to win anything. So I think that can't be overstated.
Awesome. Well, you obviously are not in my house because I can argue circles on my wife. I just let her win sometimes.
Oh, I'm on mute. I've got my headphones in, so nobody in my house could hear that. So thank you.
And I say that lovingly, hon. If you're ever watching this, don't kill me. So, all right. Well, that was a heck of a season, guys. Thank you very much. Now, I will let, for the sake of purposes, we'll let a minute go by, or whatever, before we do the final vote reveal here. So while that's going and everyone else is running to go vote for these 2 contestants, I am currently trying to pile a list for season 4. In fact, let me bring it up here.
Can I argue Batman with prep time? Can I get in on that?
No.
I want to vote early on that.
Yeah, where is it? I can't. Now, the only reason why you can't argue Batman is this season is going to be different. Next season 4 is going to be different. It's going to be all villains. I mean, it's knockout season 4. It's good to be bad. Awesome. So if you want to argue Batman, you got to pick a bad guy, kind of a thing. So I'm currently writing a list. So everyone, John,
I'll pick the Batman who laughs with prep time.
Awesome. Well, John automatically gets invited because he's a champion, but everyone else on the panel and those currently,
I was going to say Sharon and Rena are champs as well. So
yeah, I mean, if they want to be a part of season 4, they're welcome.
If they ever want to come back again and do a year-long and push their way to get here, I get it. I mean, I get it.
I'm going to do my damnedest not to have a 1.5 year long season again. I mean, that was I didn't realize that much time had passed. You know, so many things between my own personal life and everyone else's stuff coming up. It's like, Anyway, all right. So let us figure out who wins. So After a year and a half of hard effort, the championship of season 3 champion is, drum roll, 1 vote. Nope, a tie. Looks like.
It was a tie.
Oh my God!
What the hell is
Seriously,
going on here?
I told you guys. Oh my God!
Matt, I told you guys.
I told you, John. That's why I prepped. Wow.
We just went up. We just went up.
We just went up.
I can't even see. I'm wearing my glasses. I can't.
Really
even
interesting how that keeps moving.
Well, Dr. Fate,
We just went up. Yes.
we're gonna end that here, I think. Wow. Dr. Fate 196, Jean Grey Phoenix 193, 389 votes. Wow, I told you. That's why I had a tiebreaker poll just in case. I told you, John.
Wow.
Very
That was
interesting,
neck and
I
neck.
told you you
for 4
wouldn't need
weeks.
it. So
That was 10 votes in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
Hats off to you.
Who the hell the chat's been sharing? I want to know. Because I was told by them. Oh, John spiked it. We can't catch up now.
We were way behind.
ahead of
We
us,
were
yeah.
like 20 behind when we started.
So
So
I
I don't
have
even
no
know
idea.
how the hell this happened.
Apparently, the chat likes you guys. Apparently. But wow! Congratulations, ladies.
I am completely blown away.
I gotta let you know, my wife Delphia, she said that if this wasn't your if you weren't in this competition, she would have voted for the Phoenix. But she voted for me. She voted for me.
Atta girl.
So she let me win, John.
Well, see, there you go. There's your proof right there. Vince Girls let
Wow.
you win.
But you know, you and your wife are both welcome to be guests on season 4. I mean, more than happy to have you guys on. You know.
Sure.
So just hit me up in the chat or whatever. And like I said, just the only thing is it has to be a villain. So if you have a specific character, well, I'm putting it together, you know, like, hey, Mr. Comics, we want to argue Bane for the sake of argument. We want to argue Bane. You know, I'll throw that character.
Luchador has a real good shot of winning this thing.
I'm not going to judge in here. I'm going to have all characters and all that because villains don't have to play by the rules. They can cheat.
Yeah. Apparently, you could use the Phoenix again.
Yeah. The only argument here is they have to legitimately be considered a bad guy at some point, but you can only argue them as a bad guy. You cannot argue any good points about them as a hero. They have to either be the anti-hero-ish villain and nothing else.
JP has the greatest comment ever.
Fate literally got more votes than he would sell comics. If anyone needs, anyone had voted for the comic, the character he would.
Oh my god! So hilarious.
I gotta say though, Matt, your editing skills are on point. They're really
well.
good.
Like I said, I'm only so good. Yeah, I mean, I had so much fun doing it. I created it. Well, thank you. I do appreciate it. But yeah, I had so much fun this season. Created an entire different thing. And it's funny, I was creating this intro for this last episode, and I finally, I think, figured out how to bring Rob's voice into it, I guess, to create the intro I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, because Rob was officially the voice of the Rob Worst was officially the voice of season 1. And then when I changed the intro in season 2, I kind of kicked him out by a little bit. But I brought him back where I can and all that. So if I could figure out a way to bring Rob's voice into it, I always wanted to bring him back because he was the voice of the Knockout. So, but yes, congratulations, live with 2 YouTubers, Rena and Kachung. I'm saying that right? Or your
Dave.
name?
It's Dave. Come on. It's
Sorry,
Dave.
I don't know everyone. I know.
Dave. Jeez.
Oh, people call me Kachung in the street.
I'm like Maverick. I know the play. I know the things. You know, I know that. I don't know people's names.
The call signs.
I know the call sign. Names. I do call signs. So
do you know Maverick's actual name?
Yeah, I just can't think of it at the moment. So don't put me on the spot.
Yeah, call him on the spot. Call him on the spot. It's Pete Mitchell.
There we go. See, I knew that.
Nobody cares because he's freaking Maverick. If you call him Pete Mitchell, you're lame.
So congratulations, Dr. Fate, Team Dr. Fate. You guys were awesome. You guys, I will see you in season 4. I cannot wait to have you back. You guys are now 2-time champions.
Wow.
So you guys,
Girls.
starting to wonder if you guys can be defeated.
Well, I would like to say a very special thank you to Dave, because he was so awesome and so entertaining and so supportive this past month. Every time that John would shoot up in votes, I would message him and be like, oh. And he'd be like, it's okay. We've got this. It's okay. We've got this.
We tapped into networks. We got there.
And I'd like to say a special thanks to Cade, who helped me put the intro together. I had a very clear
Saturday
vision.
afternoon putting it all
I
together.
had a very clear vision, and that boy can take anything out of my brain and make it real. He is amazing, and I just wanted to say thank you to him.
Wow.
Dressing up in his Godspeed outfit, God, that looks so uncomfortable.
Well, onesies tend to be. I don't know how these heroes can do it.
Oh, seriously, legit. I don't know how you would fight like that. No. But thank you, Matt, for having us. It was really, really fun. And John, I never, ever want to go up against you again. Ever, 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 ever.
I wasn't going to let you run away with it. I mean, come on. And yeah, congratulations to...
Has been unbelievably stressed. I don't think you understand.
Huge. I'm not a very competitive person, so huge congrats to Cade for winning this thing because of all the videos he made and all the things he did to create the victory here. The
He's
silent partner there, pulling
He's
it off.
amazing.
So
Yeah,
it was actually 4 against 2. I get it. Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely was.
It was Dr. Fate and tech support.
Ooh, so in essence, Cade is like Naboo in the helmet. He's the god in the helmet, making them powerful.
There you go.
If you were to take him away, I don't think this team does as well.
I can't believe a character with like the name of the worst planet in Star Wars history won.
Do you even need to ask Russ? I don't think Russ even needs to ask this question. Was that a record? Are you kidding me? We're almost at 400 votes.
Yeah.
Well, like seriously,
we almost broke 200.
My most popular video on YouTube was Green Lantern versus Phoenix. I still don't know how that got 1.1 thousand views in a week, but seriously, I'm like, how the hell did John? What'd you do, John? Because seriously, but that was the outlier there, and then like the most votes before was like maybe 70-ish kind of thing, and again, it was because of John, calling in the Phoenix gang to vote for him.
Clearly, I don't have a gang. I couldn't even get 3 extra votes and tie this thing up.
But
the Lords of Order has spoken. Legion, I need to pick a DC character and rock this next round because clearly I need to get you on my side here, brother.
But yeah, but since I left the screen, we went up by 2 more votes, each of you gaining 1 more vote, so 391 votes. So
holy crap!
People are still voting.
The link is still active.
Let's give it to the end of the night.
Dr. Fate has already won. I was just checking to see what the total vote was, and it went up. So, but yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens when you give 2 competitive people 6 weeks in advance to gain votes.
That's not competitive. He was eating a sandwich, and it looked really tasty.
Andrew was playing with Legos. Let's not forget that.
I'm truly not competitive. I just don't want to be like run over. So I'm not going to let him run away with it. Like that's like pride. Like that's just a little bit of pride.
Yeah.
But Cade, the bigger like all this stuff. Who Dr. Fate, Phoenix, whatever. 6,000 subscribers to the Burning Block channel. Like this guy, sorry, not this guy.
Almost
that guy over there.
Oh, yeah.
Send some my way.
Amazing.
Don't forget 1 million views too.
I know.
1 million views. Yeah.
That's a big number.
Dude, absolutely incredible.
All right, so we'll go and wrap this up here. But again,
probably not talking about comic books.
But so if anyone wants to be a part of season 4 of the Knockout, has a particular villain they want to argue, hit me up on Instagram or comment down below, Mr. Comics 89. I'm open to ideas. If you have a good argument on why this person's a villain, why they should be in it, convince me. I'll be more than happy to listen. And if you want on, it saves me having to recruit. So, so once I have that down, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, it's gonna be all villains. So we were the good guys, off and on, all here. Now it's gonna be good to be bad. So if you want to be a part of season 4, hit me up. It's gonna be fun. So I'll see you guys after like a month or 2 or 3. I'm gonna have to take a break from this show for a little bit. the effort I put in over the past year and a half was insane for this show. So, yeah, but it was definitely fun. So I'll see you guys next time for the next season. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we log out?
We'd just like to wish everybody a happy holidays, and thank you, Matt, for having us. We had a lot of fun. It was stressful, but it was fun.
yeah. And also, good
appreciate
game.
It. What? I appreciate it. Cool. All right. So happy holidays, everyone, and see you guys next year for the next season.
Woo!
See you later.